Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at the brand new book from Fantagraphics, The Woman with 50 Faces. This is written by Jonathan Lackman and illustrated by Zachary J. Pinson. The book is a biography of a woman named Maria Lanni, and I didn't know what to expect when I was getting into this book. It sounded kind of interesting, and by the end of it, I was like incessantly bothering Tori with details from the story because I was so sucked into it and fascinated. I'll read you the first two pages because that gives you like a setup of what this book is all about, and then we can look at some more specifics. In the spring of 1928, the German silent film star Maria Lanni arrived in Paris. All of high society fell for her. Matisse and 50 other artists did portraits, forming an exhibition unparalleled in the history of art, which traveled to New York, Chicago, London, and Berlin, where Thomas Mann, literature's newest novelist, was among those entranced. He turned Lanni's life into a screenplay. Jean Renoir signed on to direct, and Greta Garbo to star. Then Lanni disappeared. When Lanni died years later, alone in Paris, the writer Jean Cocteau, once her greatest admirer, said she was no German actress, but rather a con artist from Warsaw, that she had stolen the portraits of her and made a fortune selling them off. His became the new accepted story of Maria Lanni, but it was also wrong. The truth is even better. And so that's where you have the writer, Jonathan Lackman, has done the historical research and found out more about the artist, and so is combining like Cocteau's account with the kind of public account, and then adding new details of what supposedly actually happened. But the story is absolutely bananas, really funny, and would make an amazing movie. Really, really enjoyed it, and then the art in the book's a lot of fun as well. So we start with Maria Lanni's birth in Kolno in 1895 in a Polish village of 5,000 people. You can see the style of the book is kind of like these thick contour lines around everything, then with a lot of hatching filling in. Almost feels a little bit like Joe Sacco-ish, except the hatching always has like this 45-degree angle coming down from right to left kind of approach on it, which is interesting. It makes everything feel kind of windswept. But a Jewish, Polish, I think in terms of this windswept hatching style, this image of the baby kind of still in the womb almost is my favorite in the book. There's just such a softness to this. I almost wish the whole book had been done in this style. I think the big, thick contour lines on like the cartooning, it makes it easier to process, I guess. But also, I don't know, there's like a softness to this that I just really, really enjoy that page. Nothing story-wise there that's important. So jumping ahead a bit, we have Maria meets a guy named... so jumping ahead quite a bit into adulthood now, we have Maria has hooked up with her both manager and husband, Max Abramovitz. And Max has this idea of like, look, you can be a great actor. And so he's acting as her agent and producer, and he's kind of a real like grifter kind of guy who is selling this false impression of Maria's fame. And they're talking about the fact that at that time in Europe, because of the different language barriers and just general, we didn't have the internet and stuff, so people weren't so aware of what was going on in other countries. It was pretty easy for him to come and claim like, oh, hey, this woman's really famous here. Now we're trying to have success. She's famous Polish. Now we're trying to break into Germany. So Germany didn't go too well, and they're able to jump over to Paris and start claiming that Maria Lanni is a famous German actress, and then really just takes the Paris scene by storm. They go in and they find Jean Cocteau and kind of con him and make him fall in love with Maria, make him obsessive with her in a really uncomfortable way that shows up in the book. Because they've got like his diary writings and her diary writings and lots of little historical documents like that forming a lot of the content of the book as well, which is interesting. But she comes in and like using Jean Cocteau instills herself in this scene as someone who's making a movie about a woman who's having all these portraits painted, and winds up getting her portraits painted by all of these super famous artists. So they try to get Picasso. Picasso won't do it. They finally get Matisse to do a portrait of her. And then once you've got Matisse in your pocket and you're saying this is for a movie, then you can get all these other people to do these portraits. So then she goes around. Basically, all of these artists just kind of become obsessed with capturing her image. And she supposedly had this face that was like really, no, everyone saw something different in her, and they all just became fascinated by trying to portray this woman. And yeah, like it just kind of keeps going, and I don't want to spoil all of where this story goes. I feel like halfway through the book and I've given away a lot, but there's so much more going on here. But just a list of the artists: Bonnard, Braque, Chagall, De Chirico, Cocteau, Delaunay, Derain, Leger, Matisse. Some of these other artists I don't know, but a huge list of artists, of people. And then yeah, this went and traveled like around the world. There's more to, like they said in the beginning, there's more to the story than Maria just taking off with the paintings. There's actually some really fascinating stuff going on, and some choices that her and her husband made later in life, like kind of moving away from the stuff and going and doing some good things and then becoming poor. Like there's this just whole story in here that's so fascinating. But the audacity of these two people to come in and kind of fake their way into being famous, which I mean, that's all fame is anyways, right? So it doesn't even seem, other than that they kind of tricked Jean Cocteau, it doesn't even seem like that morally dubious. Like, to just, if you want fame, claim fame and act famous. It's kind of like an early influencer almost, the more you act a certain way, the more you become that thing. And they ran it, they made it work. So yeah, they were, the whole time this whole book is about these poor people trying to become famous and get a movie made about them. This book right here, this is a fascinating. This would make a great movie. So maybe posthumously, it will actually be made into a movie, but at least not. It's made into a graphic novel. So yeah, I was just really enjoying this. I was cracking up. I was like constantly interrupting whatever Tori was doing and telling her little anecdotes from the book and all of that. It's really fun. Here you have some of the drawings of some of the portraits. I tried to find online like all 50 of them. I couldn't even find. I don't know if they exist, all 50 of them, or if they got sold off, and so we don't even have images of them. But that was fun to go look at. It'd be super fun to do drawings of them. And then just like a production kind of thing, there's a big double page spread that shows this has many more of them. I don't know if it has all of them. I think there were some sculptures done too. I don't know. Like, I don't think this is a sculpture of her, but I could be wrong. So this big image of the show, this is definitely a sculpture of her that they talk about in the book. So just a lot going on in this book, a really fun, interesting book. There's been a lot of books I've got from Fantagraphics this year that I'd pre-ordered in their Fanabucks sale, and so far this is my favorite one. Really, really enjoyed this. Highly recommend it. Super fun read, wild story, the kind of thing that you can't believe actually happened but did. The Eisner nominated The Strange Death of Alex Raymond by Dave Sim and myself. This is a gorgeously illustrated and designed book. Dave doing most of the illustration. Amazing compositions throughout. What Dave is doing is he's recording his obsession with the death of master cartoonist Alex Raymond behind the wheel of Stan Drake's car when they got into a car crash. The best description of the book that I've heard is that it's like understanding comics with pages like this, mixed with something like From Hell, when you get into the theories about what actually happened with the car crash. And then with Sean on production, it's just one of the most gorgeously printed books you could get a hold of.